Welcome everybody to the PodAskew Podcast. I am CJ, and with me always my hetero life mate Rico. What's going on, brother?
Oh, dude, some fucking crazy news. You've been following the fucking news on Marvel and DC and shit?
Yeah, how can you not? Jesus.
God. So right off the bat, fucking Henry Cavill, who we talk about in the Bond episode,
Yep.
is no longer fucking Superman.
What?
Or he is. They haven't given an actual fucking
I was just gonna ask you, is that confirmed? Because then didn't he put up something on Instagram or YouTube or something where he was wearing a Krypton University T-shirt and all kinds of shit?
Yeah, but didn't confirm it. He didn't say a fucking thing in the Instagram post, and he slowly raises a Superman doll and then lowers it. And you're like, is that mean he's coming back, or he's still in the picture, or that means he was and now he's out of the picture? He neither denied or commented or confirmed. He just said, I'm aware of this situation.
Right.
But they did sign on for The Witcher, for the
from the video game, which is derived from a book series, if I recall.
I didn't know that. I didn't. Yeah. I've never played the game, but I saw my friend Michael play it a couple times.
Yeah, I watched a friend play it. Well, this guy used to be a friend. I watched him play it a few times. It's interesting. It's an action RPG. So if you know what those are, that's basically what it boils down to. So,
I personally, I'm kind of disappointed. He was actually a decent Superman, but it was also he didn't get to be the Superman that we wanted. We got a glimpse of that in Justice League at the end.
You know what? I think we differ on this, and I think we talked about it on the DC episode. I loved Man of Steel. I thought that was great. I thought he was a good Superman there. I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. I liked that movie a lot. And as great as Christopher Reeve was as Superman in those early movies, I like Man of Steel better. And that's me. And that's not a slight on Christopher Reeve. I just like that movie a lot.
And I can understand that. I just felt like this Henry Cavill Superman was just not. He was on the verge. He was still darker because he was still angry. He had to go through a bunch of bullshit in order to become the Superman that we
all know. Yeah, absolutely.
Of hope and light. And I think we kind of finally got a glimpse of that in the end of Justice League. And I think that would have been the next step, which was you start out dark and angry and upset and moody and gave off the Cooper stare a lot. And then we were going to get the traditional Superman, the more bright colored kind of shit.
Right. And I think, you said,
hope he comes back.
Yeah. And I think you said, we got parts of that in Justice League, when he was racing the Flash, when they were saving the people in whatever that Russian country was. I don't think it ever said the name, but if they did, then I forget it. But that's not the important part.
Yeah, I don't remember.
The name of the country for the purpose of what we're talking about is not important. But if they were out there trying to save people, and the Flash is moving this truck at whatever speed he goes at, and Superman's carrying a fucking entire apartment building the same speed. So it's kind of funny. But
the fact that Aquaman is in the Russian desert is what pisses me off.
Yeah, that's what we covered that in the DC Screwed. Let's not go back there again. Although, staying on topic for a minute, all things I'm hearing is that the Aquaman movie is going to be pretty fucking good.
I've heard that. From what I've heard some people comparing it to Black Panther. That's the same setup. No, meaning the same story basically, which is Aquaman. It's just Black Panther in reverse. Aquaman comes back to basically claim his right as the ruler of Atlantis.
Okay.
And his half-brother is the one who's ruling it.
Okay,
so imagine it was if Killmonger.
He's basically Killmonger without being an evil bastard, is what it boils down to.
Right.
Okay. Which, by the way, I just rewatched Black Panther the other night for the first time in a while, because I kept doing this thing where I would turn it on and then fall asleep. Not because I didn't like it, but I'd be putting it on late at night as I was laying down, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And you just fall asleep. And I kept almost getting to the same point in the movie where Killmonger makes his appearance, where
at the museum.
Where he saves Claw from when they capture him, and they got him like duct taped to the chair. And I seemed to always get to that point and then fall asleep, and I never would pick it up from there. I'd always start back from the beginning. So I hadn't seen the end of it in a while, so I went back and watched it. There's one thing, and I don't know if we want to get into it, but I realize is like after him, there's not going to be another Black Panther. There's not, at least in the movie canon, there won't be another one after T'Challa because Killmonger burnt all the flowers to give the Black Panther power.
Well, that's a good point. If he no, they're still planning on making another Black Panther.
Right, but no, and for those of you who've seen Infinity War, let's assume that he comes back. That they find a way to bring these people back. So the second Black Panther can have T'Challa in it, and he'll still have the Black Panther powers. But I didn't do it on purpose.
I know.
But after he passes on, what happens? Because unless maybe there's more of that flower somewhere else in Wakanda somewhere or whatever, but like unless that's the case, or maybe Shuri, that's her name, right? His sister, Shuri? Yeah. Maybe she can like derive it from his blood somehow. I don't know if maybe like if she takes a sample of his blood, she can like synthesize the thing. I don't know. But like my thought is like how if Killmonger burnt all those plants, how are they going to have another Black Panther after T'Challa?
Honestly, the way I think the excuse I'm going to use for every like how they're going to do this is just time stone.
Is what?
Time stone.
Right, but that has nothing to do with the Infinity War. So,
well, I'm saying they do a time stone. They do a time jump.
Oh, okay.
Or Killmonger comes, and it'll probably be like something like where they go back and actually like prevent the death of his uncle from his father.
I gotcha.
And then like raise Killmonger, right? Raise him as a hero and as a.
I hope not because. Yeah, I guess I hope not because I think that's bending lines too far. But I get what you're saying. So, on that point, real quick, there was a Marvel Capcom mashup game that came out last year, I think, called Marvel Capcom 3 or Marvel Capcom Infinite War or something like that. And it's basically like Ryu fighting side by side with, Captain America or Thor and, the knight from Ghouls and Goblins and things like that.
As they had in the early fucking mid-90s.
Right, they've done a couple of these, but this most recent one, and I found this thing on YouTube because I'm not great at for those of you who don't know, it's a fighting game. So it's like a Street Fighter style game, and I'm not great at those games, so I'm not a fan of getting them generally, especially spending $60 a pop. So I found online where you could watch all the cutscenes from that. So it basically still gives you the story without having to fight the fights. And in that game, it's not called Wakanda. It's called Valkanda. Valkanda is how they say it, and it's got. I was watching it with subtitles, and it wasn't. It looked like they were in-game subtitles, and it was spelled Valkanda.
Like they're combining Valhalla and Wakanda.
I guess, yeah, but they were calling it Valkanda.
Like it's the Norwegian part of Africa. Like what the fuck?
I don't know, but it made me really like, wait a minute. I thought it was because I remember I'm watching this. I'm like, I thought it was Wakanda, and they're calling it Val. And Black Panther is the character referring to it as Valkanda. So
I don't know. Maybe it's an alternate universe where Thor and Black Panther are the same fucking person.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really Thor. Thor was a separate character. You saw him, but anyway.
I don't. That doesn't. It sounds like a huge error. Personally.
That's kind of what I was wondering too, but I know you know a little bit more about the Black Panther history than I do, and I thought maybe you knew something I didn't.
Not much. It could just very well be that like the accent, like because I mean I'm not even going to really attempt, but like when they say we say Wakanda, it could just be Wakanda. It just could sound like how when you get like really shitty subtitles on like daytime TV and just totally fucked up.
I do know what you're talking about, but like the audio match the words pretty clearly. Like
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it was weird.
While we talk about the next thing.
I'm not. Well, yeah, and I'm not making a big deal out of it. It was just something I was curious about. So that said, Marvel has. Well, Disney's putting out this app that they're going to be putting out. I think they're calling it Disney All Access. I can't speak tonight. Disney All Access, and in that they're putting I think they're eventually shifting all the Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff, for that matter, into this stream. So you're not going to be able to watch like Star Wars or Captain America or Avengers or anything like that on Netflix or any of those.
Or just traditional Disney films.
Or traditional Disney films, for that matter, yeah. You're going to have to go to their app to get these things. And they've announced the two... I hate to use the word B characters, but I don't have a better way to put it, from the Marvel Universe are getting their own shows on there. And that is Loki and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I'm not overly fucking fond of this idea, personally.
No? I love Tom Hiddleston as Loki. So anytime I get to see him play Loki, I'm on board. I'm kind of with you on Scarlet Witch, but I will watch Loki all day.
But the reason why Tom Hiddleston's great is because he's a great villain or anti-hero, and he's great for supporting role. He's great to banter against Thor. If you just have him by himself, it's just, I don't know, man. And I mean, I'm more upset the fact that like they haven't bridged the Netflix Marvel shows with the movies.
They're not going to.
The Marvel. I know, that's why my problem is that, make that leap first. Let us have Daredevil hanging around with Spider-Man.
But we talked about that Kevin Feige and Jeff Loeb don't like each other. That's never going to fucking happen.
Yeah, but why? I mean, first off, I don't think, as much as I like Tom Hiddleston as Loki, he should be his own protagonist. He is good as an antagonist or as an anti-hero going up against Thor or Iron Man or Hulk. Same with Scarlet Witch. If you just have Scarlet Witch, there needs to be that dynamic between her and Vision. There needs to be that love story. Or her and Quicksilver. But Quicksilver's dead. Just having standalone shows it just seems like the complete out of left field decision.
I can agree with you with Scarlet Witch. I think, though, with Loki, depending on where they set it and how they set it, that could work really well. Here's what I mean, right? After Thor the Dark World, and before we get to Thor Ragnarok, there's a huge chunk of time where we have no idea what's happening with Loki. We know what's going on with Thor, but we don't know what's going on with Loki. You know what I mean? And, we pick up Loki, and he's impersonating Odin on... Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me tonight? Asgard, thank you. And, and then it picks up and, Thor exposes him. But, I mean, in the interim, he's built a 40-story statue to himself with the horns, and he's put together this whole play, talking about how he's like the savior of Asgard or whatever. There's this huge chunk of time that they could cover. That would be really interesting to see But that
means the majority of the time he'd be playing Odin, so really it should be Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that's true. Shit.
So, and the other alternative they could do is that it's a prequel that it shows young Loki, slowly resenting Thor, getting all this power and all this attention.
But I think Tom Hiddleston's going to do it.
It's over-explaining it.
Yeah, and plus I think Tom Hiddleston's going to do it, so I think that doesn't work because you can't get the younger look that you're talking about. I understand what you're getting at, but I don't think you can pull it off with Hiddleston. As far as Scarlet Witch goes, the thing I think you need to do with that is you need to do like what they've talked about doing this movie the DC's talking about doing, the Gotham City Sirens, where you have her with other strong female, so you and maybe not every episode, but like you have these people show up. So like one episode, Black Widow shows up. Another episode, the woman from Black Panther's guard. You know who I'm talking about? The bald girl with the spear.
Yeah, the woman from Walking Dead. I can't. Okoye.
Yeah. You get her to show up for an episode. You know, I mean, you get these different women, these strong women to show up and you know, have these adventures together. That could be okay, but you're right. Scarlet Witch needs another character with her. It doesn't necessarily need to be Vision or Quicksilver. While those stories are intriguing, and I agree with you, I don't think it has to be those characters. I think you could have an all-woman show, like a Charmed type of show. Do you know what I mean?
I just started watching Charmed. Like I didn't even finish the first episode. I don't know. I think I'm more of a bigger fan of Buffy. I'm a big fan of Buffy.
Yeah, I was never a Charmed or a Buffy guy myself, but I think the Charmed model would fit for Scarlet Witch. Do you know what I mean? And no pun intended, because she's a witch, but you know what I'm saying, like, or because of the name.
Right. The only thing I would like to see, if they were doing a Scarlet Witch show, I'd like to see her interact with the X-Men and because Magneto is her father.
Well, in canon, yes, but I don't know if they could.
Yeah, that's what I'm. But now Kevin Feige is now going to run the X-Men.
Right.
He's actually going to do the Dark Phoenix movie. Like, it's now his responsibility.
Really? Is that official? Like, he's taking that over?
Well, I think they more or less, they're still in the middle of reshoot because they keep reshooting the fucking movie. Plus, they were going to make New Mutants, which that trailer looked fucking awesome.
I didn't see that.
Dude, it looks like a straight up horror film with mutants. And it's like young teen mutants that are like in a fucking abandoned asylum where they're testing on mutants. So there's like mutant ghosts and shit fucking with them. And the trailer features like this really haunting version of Another Brick in the Wall.
Okay.
It's one of the well done trailers, and I'm like, holy shit, I want to see this fucking movie. And then they either canceled it or they're just reshooting the fuck out of it again.
No,
from what I understand, because now that Kevin Feige has the X-Men,
they might be reshooting because there's a release date. It looks like of August 2nd next year
for the New Mutants or for Dark Phoenix.
New Mutants.
I mean, I fucking hope so. Maybe with Kevin Feige, it'll actually get done properly. But that trailer looks fun. If they stick with the tone of that, I'm all for it. Well, because that was them being like, that was them coming back from Logan, which was like a whole new departure.
Well, what did you think of the that animated thing I sent you? I think earlier today.
I fucking thought it was awesome, but I don't think we will have that at the time that we want. It won't fit with Avengers Infinity War Part 2.
Right, because one of the things I didn't know about the Avengers 3 and 4, Infinity War and whatever they're calling this next one, I think they probably should call it, well, they could do that. I think they should call it the Infinity Gauntlet, but that's another, they should have called the first one the Infinity Gauntlet and the second one Infinity War, but that's neither here nor there.
I agree with that, but there's the Russo brothers released a photo. Did you see that?
No, but let me just finish the point I was going to make, and then we'll talk about that, because I'm curious what you were going to tell me. But they shot those back-to-back, much like Peter Jackson shot all three of the Lord of the Rings at the same time. Based on those facts, I think that even with the acquisition of Fox, to your point, they're not going to be able to bring, unless they do a reshoot of like the end of the movie or something, which I guess they could do if they really needed to, without destroying the story too much. Because that's the one thing I wouldn't want the Russo brothers to do, is completely sacrifice whatever story they were telling just to
smush more characters in.
Right, exactly. So, you interested in watching this trailer with me? Because I'd like to see this New Mutants trailer. So let's see this.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
Oh, that says April 13th, so that's different. The other one I saw said April or August 9th, but either way.
Yeah, that was an old trailer, but that was, you see what I'm talking about? Like, that fucking looks legit, like a whole new direction where Fox was like.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, that's probably going to be Deb's favorite Marvel movie, hands down, because she loves horror movies.
If they keep with the tone, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they stick to that. I'll tell you right now, that's going to creep the shit out of me, which, by the way, I'm trying to find a version of Halloween so that we can do that. I am trying to find one to watch.
Why won't you just go to the fucking movie theater like I sent you that link?
No. What?
I sent you a link where they're playing the original Halloween at select theaters.
Oh, I forgot you sent me that. I'll have to look at that. Yeah. I'd rather not pay for it, to be honest with you, though. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not familiar with what characters are in the New Mutants, though. Like, I'm not familiar with the different...
Honestly, I don't know shit about the New Mutants either. I was kind of blown away, but I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is. I know it's Marvel. I know it's mutants. What the fuck? But I'd have to do some research as well. But obviously that was a clear, like that was stemming from Logan, where Logan went such a different departure.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was Fox getting ballsy. Honestly, it was Deadpool and Logan where they're like, Fox was like, we're going to try something. And then Dark Phoenix was them trying to play it safe, where they're like, let's make sure we get a fucking good movie. And that's honestly how it was with the new Predator movie, because I saw that.
Okay.
That was them trying to play it safe. Like there was like another cut that Shane Black had done, and then the studio freaked out because they got one bad review, and they were like, okay, we're just gonna make a standard, theatrical, play it safe Predator movie, and it's just awful. I was
in like 2 words, Rico, because I don't want to get into a whole thing on it, but on the new what used to be Fat Man on Batman, which is now Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Mark talked about, because they had gone and seen it literally before they went to record the episode. Were they accurate? How was it? In terms of, what I mean by how was it was like, how was their description and thoughts on it compared to...
I really disagree. Kevin liked it. I didn't. I was so...
Yeah, I got the impression, though, that Mark didn't. Like, he thought it was okay.
I didn't even think it was okay, honestly.
Okay,
I was more... Honestly, I loved Predators, the Robert Rodriguez movie.
Right.
Way more than this new fucking one, because it looked like... honestly, I keep thinking it was like the Predator version of the Fantastic Four reboot movie, because you just keep seeing Shane Black's version, and then the studio saying, nope, this is going to be the version that we want, and then smushing it together because there's all these incoherent plot points that they introduce that, if it was Shane Black's vision, would actually be fucking awesome. And then them not expanding on it. And honestly, I walked to that theater more disappointed than usual, because I was like, holy shit, dude, I fucking love the Predator movies. But it just... There were some good parts to it, but it's definitely my least favorite. Like, I like Alien vs. Predator more than this one.
Okay, fair enough. I have seen that one. That's one of the only Alien or Predator movies I've seen. So, but
you saw the original, right?
No.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah,
that's something you need to see. You need to see the original Predator.
I've never seen the original Alien either. But did you can you still see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so I have a wiki pulled up on the New Mutants. So I just thought we don't have to go through every piece of it because it's pretty big. But if you see it right here, there's a long list of fucking members.
Well, why don't you just bring up the movie page and see what characters are featured in that?
Oh,
so maybe look for an adaptation.
Why you got to make sense and shit? That's not right. Hold on. There it is.
I don't know.
Here we are. So,
Magic
actors. Okay, so we have Magic. That's okay. So from what I was reading on the other page,
Colossus.
Yeah, Sister of Colossus.
Wolfsbane.
Wolfsbane I've heard of before. I don't know much about the character. Cannonball's another one I've heard of. I think Cannonball actually makes a cameo in Days of Future Past. I think he's one of the army. Remember when Mystique shows up at the army to save those soldiers in like Vietnam?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who. No, because it was Toad.
Right, it was Toad and
you're right.
I think I don't think he says anything. I think he's literally just sitting there.
I think he might have shown up in Last Stand, actually. I think they went way back.
Oh, you might be right. I might be. I am thinking of something else. But anyway, and then you got Mirage, Sunspot, and then the mentor to the Gru, and that's it.
Wait, go back down. Antonio Banderas is in this?
Has been cast as an undisclosed villain to appear in the post-credit scene.
Where John Hamm portrayed Mr. Sinister? What the fuck?
Well, I guess he's not doing it anymore, according to this, though, because it was changed from that to whatever Antonio Banderas is doing.
John Hamm as Sinister? That would have been fucking...
That would have been badass. Yeah.
Although now I think because they recast it, maybe that means he might play Batman.
Yeah. Well, he was talking about it last week. There was an interview where he talked about how he would love to do it, but no one's ever really approached him about it.
He was a big fan casting, and so was Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin was really... If it wasn't Affleck, it was going to be Josh Brolin, but Brolin was like, no, I'm into Thanos more. Thanos
and that's the other thing. Like, I'm kind of getting Josh Brolin out. Like, I need a Josh Brolin break at this point, if that makes sense. Like, I like him, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was a big fan of his remake of Oldboy. That was the movie where I was like, holy shit, he was going to kill as Thanos.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I have a real problem with him being Thanos and Cable. I do. I think we talked about it before, so I don't want to... but I have a real problem with that. To be fair, so it doesn't sound like I'm picking on Josh Brolin, I had a real problem with Chris Evans being Human Torch and Captain America. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I had a problem with that, too. I mean, now, to be fair, Chris Evans has killed it as Captain America, especially in Infinity War. I just watched that again the other night for, like, the 10th time or whatever it is, and he's just a badass. And I mean, that is the best portrayal of Captain America from any of the movies across the board, in my opinion. It's not traditional Cap, and I get that, but man, is he a badass in that movie.
Well, that's because he's more nomad than anything.
Right. They're not calling him that yet, and I don't know if they ever will use that name, but I know what you're referring to, and I love that portrayal, man. That was just badass.
Well, I heard that, to be fair, he's not really featured that much. I mean, he's in it, but he's not like...
Right, but the scenes he's in, he fucking kills
The scenes he's in are fucking amazing, but he's supposed to have a huge, bigger role.
Oh, I would think so. In part 2? Yeah, I would think so.
Which brings me to that I think it was Instagram, where the Russo brothers, it shows one of them. I think it's Anthony. Anthony is sitting in I don't know what it is. You'll have to find it, but it looks like a fucking warehouse with ladders and chairs, and he's just sitting, and it's a black and white photo, and the caption says, "Look closely," and people were like, "Is this a fucking clue to Avengers?" And someone figured out that the objects that are in the fucking picture more or less spell out Endgame.
Was it the Russo brothers? Was it theirs or was
I don't know. I don't have Instagram. You have to search it. Just search Russo brothers. There it is, right there. Yeah.
All right, let's see.
This is good for our listeners. You're not seeing what we're talking about.
If you go to Instagram while you're listening to this and search the Russo brothers, all one word. If you have Instagram, look that up, and there's a black and white photo of one of them sitting in a chair on what looks like Rico said, on a set. That's what you want to. That's what we're looking at right now. So go ahead, Rico. I just wanted to put people where we are.
Okay, so look at the ladder behind him.
Yep.
That's obviously an A.
Yep.
Okay. So if you look on that wall behind, in back of him to his side, you see those X's. Now, if you take that far right one.
Wait, hold on. Wait, Rico, hold on. What X's are you? I'm not seeing the X's here.
The thing on the sticker, the tape on the wall.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it. Yep.
So if you take that one, the one on the far right, and diagonally go down to the bottom one, and then go down to where the guy is sitting, and then curve up, it looks like a G.
I mean, oh, that's a stretch. I see it, but it's a stretch.
I know it's a stretch, but like someone. All right, look. All right, I'll make it more clear. Go to the far left. All right.
Can you see my pointer? Can you see
yes,
my mouse?
I can.
Okay, all right.
So take your pointer, go to the left a little bit. All right, you see that black bar line right slightly above it?
There?
More. The one above that. That one.
Okay.
Now go to the one below that. And then the one below that. So that's an E.
Okay.
Then to the left of that, immediately right next, you'll see a board.
Yeah, I see it right here.
So that's an N.
Okay. Well, yeah, you do N up here. Yeah, okay.
And then that other, that thing, that's a D. So it's end game. And then it gets to M after that A ladder.
I see the M right
somewhere,
here.
Right there. And then there's that other E on the far right. Yeah.
Yep.
You see it now, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what it would represent.
It would mean the title of the new Avengers.
Oh,
Endgame.
I gotcha. Okay.
And he even says, like, look closely.
Yeah.
Like, someone actually lined this all out so you can actually see the newer, they traced it with, like, Photoshop so it actually spells out the word Endgame.
I wonder if it's more deliberate than that. Like, I don't know if it's that. I don't know. I need some time to study this
initially,
thing.
I thought the other alternative was the ladder to the right and then the stand to the left. That's also standing up.
Yeah.
That they both look like A. So I just thought it was Avengers Assemble.
See, I would put more stock in that than the Endgame. Do you know what I mean? The Endgame is a stretch. I see what you're pointing at to get there, but that, yeah, I would go with the AA before I go over. You know what I mean?
Now, I don't necessarily believe this Endgame thing, but once they traced it out, I was like, okay, I can see that point of view, but my initial reaction was, I see the A. I see both the A's. It's obviously an Avengers thing.
Definitely. I see the A's too.
You'll have to find that other photo where they traced it out. It might make it more clear. But again...
No, I see it. I do see it. I just don't... I think it's... It's a phenomenon. There's a name for it, but the eye sees what it wants to see, not what's actually there. There's a name for that. I can't think of what it's called. But...
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder if that's how we're getting to this Endgame thing. And it's what the eye, what people want it to be is what they're seeing as opposed to what's actually there.
Well, there's let's say for the sake of argument that it is Endgame.
Yeah.
How impressive is it that the Russo brothers put that much detail? Like, that is fucking amazing. That is astounding detail. Where they're like, they had to fucking do that probably for hours to make sure it looked right.
I will tell you right now that when the first Avengers came out and Joss Whedon did it, and it was an amazing movie, right? We've talked about it ad nauseum, so I'm not going to start breaking it apart again. But it's a great movie, right? And then I found out he was not on Ultron, right? If I'm correct?
No, he did Ultron. He did the first two.
Okay, he did do Ultron, right? And Ultron I like too. But then they didn't bring him back for the third one, and he wasn't doing Civil War, where he basically, as we've talked about it before, was basically Avengers 2.5, And
that was the Russo brothers.
Right, that's the point I was going to get to. The Russo brothers did those, and I didn't think anyone could do it better than Joss Whedon. And then the Russo brothers do Civil War and Infinity War, and it's like, holy shit. Those... I won't ever get tired of any of the Marvel movies. I will talk a little out of turn and say that I was having a conversation with Steph the other day, and she told me she's kind of getting a little Marveled out. Like, she's kind of had enough Marvel.
Yeah, she told me that when I asked her if she had seen the Captain Marvel trailer, and she was just like, I don't know. One, she doesn't like trailers because she thinks it ruins the whole... It spoils the movie a little bit for her.
It can, but not always. But I get her point. Anyway, go ahead.
I get her point too, but I made her watch the Captain Marvel trailer, and I'm going to make you watch the Captain Marvel trailer.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it yet.
But she was like, okay. And I'm like, well, what'd you think? She's like, I don't know anything about Captain Marvel. I'm like, well, to be fair, I don't know much about her either. But I was like, doesn't the trailer look interesting? She's like, well, whatever. But I also can understand because she's not like, I'm like into Marvel or DC as much as we are. It's
right.
like, it's the same thing. Like, she likes Star Wars, but she's not like diehard Star Wars fan. So it was like, oh yeah, you Star Wars. She's like, well, I'll see it on DVD, whatever. Whereas you and I fucking live for this shit.
Yeah, we do. I'm sorry. I'm looking at these. I'm trying to look at some of these comments on this Russo brothers picture to see what people are saying.
They're mostly saying Endgame, aren't they?
A couple people are just calling each other assholes and stuff too, which is not really important to the conversation.
Yeah, that pretty much is the standard. Like, fuck, dude. I saw like a trailer for like just a regular movie, and then I went down the comments, and it was just all like racism and homophobia. I'm like,
yeah,
how the fuck did we get here?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, I found out the Wakanda thing.
Oh, good. Yeah, what was that about?
That is obviously, I think they explain it in the game, but you only saw like parts of it.
Right,
is a hybrid location from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which is the stage is a merged location comprised of Marvel's nation of Wakanda, home of the Black Panther, and Valhalla from Capcom's Monster Hunter series.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what it is.
But that's still, yeah, I guess it's weird. They never really reference Monster Hunter at any other point in any of the cutscenes, so that still seems a little...
Well, here's another thing they add. Though the power of a barrier through the power of a barrier created with the Time Stone. That actually kind of goes with what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
The Time Stone is used because it's in Black Panther's possession. Valkanda remains static in time, maintaining an ancient appearance and keeping it outside of Ultron Sigma's grasp.
Right.
So, weirdly enough, it actually kind of goes with my theory earlier.
It was, yeah.
Fuck, dude. Honestly, you're going to laugh within the first 10 seconds, and you're going to think of me.
Okay. So you want me to let me look up this thing, and then we'll get it going. All right. I think I've got the new one. Here we go. You're right. Oh man. That's
so
yeah.
the big talk about it. There's a lot of comparisons, which will bleed into our next topic. Is that Brie Larson doesn't look like she's conveying any emotion.
Right.
She just looks one dimensional the entire trailer.
But that's a trailer. That's not a fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And I'm actually a fan of Brie Larson. I really liked her performance in Room.
I didn't see that.
And she was on a show earlier. Room is like a Law and Order Special Victims Unit episode with a happy ending.
I got dirty for a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I like Brie Larson. I mean, she's an Oscar-winning actress. I think she.
What did she win for? I'm not as familiar with her. Or if I am, I don't know it. Do you remember?
What was what about?
No, do you remember what she won for? Because I'm not as familiar with her.
Room.
Oh, for that movie. Okay.
Yeah. The setup for Room is that she was abducted when she was like 16 and locked in a slightly big tool shed, and the man, like her abductor, rapes her. She gets impregnated. So it's more about how she's just like living in this fucking thing. She's got a bed, she's got little things, but she has a son, and her son, incidentally played by the kid who was in the new Predator movie. His whole perception of everything is that he only understands what's in the room. So he doesn't understand the concept of the world being outside.
Okay.
So even though he sees this, like when he watches TV, he thinks that the TV is like, he doesn't understand it's actors playing like things. He doesn't understand that there's a whole world out there. So it is an incredible performance because it's a lot of like this young woman who has raised her son as best as she can, living in a fucking shed.
Right.
But she also was in the show The United States of Terra, which I was a huge fan of.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one either, but
that's fucking great. It might still be on Netflix, you should check that out. But also she was in the King Kong movie that came out recently.
Okay, yeah, the only one I saw was the one with Jack Black from a number of years ago.
Okay, so Kong Skull Island is actually, like, I liked it a lot.
No, I've heard good things. I've just never been a King Kong guy. Like, I didn't, like, get excited about the Jack Black one. I just happened to come across it one day and watched it, but, like, I didn't, like, I need to see this. You know what I mean? So,
well, I like the Kong Skull Island because it was a complete departure from the new Godzilla they made.
Oh, okay.
Because Godzilla, the 2014 reboot of Godzilla was like, you barely saw Godzilla in profile. It was a lot of like, you see his tail, you see this, you know, the back of his spines. But like King Kong, you fucking see him immediately, like full profile.
It still had to be better than the 1999 Godzilla. The 99 one was terrible.
For sure. So you like that little...
I gotta tell you though, Rico, of the two, I actually think I like the New Mutants trailer better. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not interested in Captain Marvel, because of course I am, but I think I like the New Mutants trailer better.
I'm honestly, I 100% agree. I was really kind of surprised and underwhelmed by the Captain Marvel trailer. Obviously, just like, you know, as trailers go, you need like a better one.
Well,
later.
and here's the
honestly, I think that would be more of a cheat.
And here's the thing I would say about the Captain Marvel trailer, that's going to be unique than a lot of other trailers for movies that were before it and will come after it, is it's my opinion, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that shares it, so I'm not saying it like it's some kind of, revelation, but I think Captain Marvel is going to be such a huge player and contributor to the events of the next Avengers movie that they have to be really cautious about what they show before the movie itself, meaning the Captain Marvel movie, comes out, because it might give too much away too soon, if that makes any sense.
Of course. I mean, obviously, Coulson was a fucking surprise.
Coulson was a surprise. I mean, I think to some people, Nick Fury having two eyes would be a surprise. That wasn't one to me because I'd heard about it before I saw that, so I wasn't stunned about that part. I think they did a good job of aging down Sam Jackson, too, because sometimes that looks kind of cheesy and bad, but I think it looked good there. They did a good job with that. And I've heard a rumor, and I don't know if you've heard it too, that we're going to get the reason why he doesn't have an eye, like why he loses his eye in that movie at some point.
There's actually, in the trailer, it's really kind of catch and miss it. But someone obviously stilled every portion of the trailer to look at it closely.
Sure. Right.
There's a part where they're in like a bunker or something, or they're in like sort of a dark room, and you see to the left, Nick Fury is sitting down. It looks like he's got an ice pack over his eye. Okay.
So yeah, we're probably going to find out then. I mean, and that's fine. Like, I'm fine if that's kind of ruined. Not how, but the fact that we're going to get that information does not bother me that I know that in advance. It's exciting to see Coulson. I mean, the problem is, this is what I want. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the show, is starting to have run its course. I don't think it's got much life left. Maybe a season or two. But honestly, I think this upcoming season will probably be the end of it. And that has nothing to do with the Avengers movies per se. I just think the show itself has kind of run its course. It's a great show, and I've loved it, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm not saying anything bad about it. I actually thought they were going to cancel it a couple years ago, and then they brought in the storyline with the Ghost Rider, and it saved that show for 2 more seasons. But I think it's getting to the end.
I'm so far behind on it. I've only seen like the first 2.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to spoil anything, but, I think
I knew he showed up because the internet spoiled it for me.
Okay. But I think they're going to have to run it to the end, and I think that what they need to do is... Oh, can I spoil something for you, or do you want to try to catch up?
No, go ahead.
At the end of this season, Coulson left the show, basically. But he's not dead.
Oh, really?
He's just gone. Now, I don't think that's permanent, to be honest, but that's the way they laid it out, right? So I would like Coulson to make an appearance in the Infinity War. The next one, the part 2, whatever. Because to this point, even...
I'm all for that.
Well, and to this point, even for the purposes of the show, the Avengers still think he's dead. They have no clue he's alive. The only person in the cinematic universe that knows he's alive are 2 people, Marie Hill and Nick Fury. That's it. Everyone else thinks he's dead.
No, there's another one. No. There's another one.
Who?
There's Lady Sif from Thor.
Oh, you're right. You're right, because she makes an appearance on S.H.I.E.L.D. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot about her.
But they never established if they never established if she died in Ragnarok.
I think she did when they were fighting Hela.
I don't think she was. Was she in it?
Oh, you know what? I don't think she was in that scene. No. I think it was the rest of the... I forget what those characters were called. There was a name for that group.
The Warriors 3.
The what?
The Warriors 3.
Okay, yeah. I don't think she was in there. Yeah, so she might still be alive. Unless she got
she's
snapped.
In the whole fucking movie. She could have got snapped. That's the other possibility. But, I mean, that's like saying, well, anybody could have gotten snapped.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the one fun thing about the next movie is, like, all right, we saw a bunch of people get snapped, but the next fun part is who didn't, you know? Like, figuring out who's still with us.
It's fucking lucky that Captain Marvel did not get snapped. Put it that way.
Well, yeah, but I think that's obviously pre-planning.
You know who I would like to see, and I have a slight theory that he may show up again?
Who's that?
Robert Redford's character from Winter Soldier.
Didn't he die at the end of that movie?
No, I'm talking about Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah. That could be fun. That would be interesting. Yeah.
Because there's almost this sort of like knowing intimidation look that Nick Fury says in Winter Soldier, where he like takes off his eye patch to show to do the optical recording thing, where it's almost implied that Redford was there when he lost his eye.
Well, they said something about knowing each other for years at one point early in the movie when they're talking before he turns on Nick Fury. Spoilers, people. But before he Well, hey, you never know. But if before you find out that Redford's Hydra, and they're just talking in I think it's Nick's office or maybe in Redford's office. I forget, but it doesn't matter whose office. But they're talking, and they reference having known each other for years and going on these adventures.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you're right. That would be cool.
They usually throw these little cameos in.
They do, and it would be fun. I mean, obviously, Coulson, you know, I wouldn't have guessed that, but it makes sense, you know, so you never know.
Showing him as a rookie, basically.
So, that'd be interesting. What else is
the only thing I can think of is that they shouldn't call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
They what?
I mean, it should be. They shouldn't call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't think they
will.
Is
what I am adamant about.
I think they'll call it. What wasn't it called? The SRS or something like that.
I don't remember. What was it called in Agent Carter? Because I haven't seen any of Agent Carter.
I think it was called the SRS or something. I'm gonna have to look it up. But I think it was something like that. It had an anagram like a shield, but it wasn't shield. It was something else, and it was only like 3 or 4 letters. It wasn't shield. It wasn't, and it wasn't.
Why it took them so long to come up with shield as a name?
Because I think, to be fair, I think that the department name changes a few times over the course of, you know, 4 decades or whatever it is. Like at one point it's something, and then it becomes something else, and then it becomes Strategic Homeland, whatever. Right. You know, I always fuck it up. That the Coulson thing. You know what I'm talking about.
The Coulson thing, yes.
Well, no, because that's his best line in that movie, and I like him a lot, but that's his best line in that movie.
Well, because in the first Iron Man, he doesn't have any really promising great lines.
Well, and that's the funny thing is, I think she wasn't going to be a reoccurring character at first, and I think everyone kind of, like, when they were doing, like, test screenings or whatever, liked the character so much that that's why he starts showing up in these other movies.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story of that. I think, no, because I don't fucking remember. I think the bonus scene for Iron Man
is Nick Fury.
It was Nick Fury.
Yeah.
So I think originally they were thinking maybe Samuel Jackson would be the one to bridge them all together, and then maybe Samuel Jackson didn't have a whole lot of opening for his time, so they're like, well, let's just have this other guy do it.
Well, maybe that's possible too. I think who knows? I think Kevin Feige's had a plan from day one that only he knows, to be very honest with you.
Not that early. No, not that early. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing that far in advance. They had ideas, but they didn't know if it was going to be successful. It was a huge gamble because Iron Man was such a...
Yeah, it was.
Was not the Spider-Man or the... But going back to Captain Marvel, like I said, a lot of the criticism was how she doesn't show any emotion, and they're using... A lot of the fucking haters are comparing her to the new Joker footage.
Okay, well, hold on. Before you get into that real quick, I just want to say, because I looked up that information you asked me to look up, and Peggy Carter worked for the Strategic Scientific Reserve, so the SSR. I was close. I had two of the letters flipped, but that's what it was called back then.
You have the dyslexic version of it.
Yeah, there you go. I'm looking up something because I want to see if it was the same. I don't know if it's going to give me what I'm looking for, but I'm going to try. Yeah, that's not what I looked up who created Captain America because I was trying to get the name of the organization that gave him the serum in the first place. But I'm getting the creators who actually created the character, not the, It
would probably be the same thing because Peggy Carter was part of whatever that was.
Yeah, probably. But I think I see. I'm not sure, and I'll tell you why. Because I think after the events of Captain America, the First Avenger, is when they created the SSR as a result of what happened. Do you know what I'm saying?
Could be.
I think that's how that works.
It was probably just some branch of American government. It was just an American, probably, the early Bureau of Investigation kind of shit.
Right.
Early,
But you were talking about is there a trailer for this Joker thing you were talking about?
There's no trailer, but there's test footage that Todd Phillips released where it shows Joaquin Phoenix just sort of standing and no makeup on, but he looks gaunt and he has like long hair. And then there's all these flashes of light and it looks like makeup kind of spiraling around him. And then it shows him in a weird, it's very reminiscent of the mask Heath Ledger wears in the opening of The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I'm actually watching it as we speak. I'm seeing it's not. Yeah, no.
It's very reminiscent of the clown in the opera Pagliacci, especially with the blue diamond sort of over his left eye.
Yeah,
his left, our right.
I'm not liking this at all.
So now look. If you look later, there is more footage where it shows him walking like out of a train at a subway platform.
Okay.
And he's sort of wearing like a burgundy suit, like an orange vest or something. I don't remember what it was, but you'll see what I'm talking about.
I think this is the same thing you were just telling me about where it's transforming, but I'm trying to see if I can get it to give me the rest of it, but I don't think so. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. He kind of looks like Ronald McDonald if he was cracked out.
Yeah.
Which, ironically enough, he looks less of a tweaker. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. But no, look for Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. Just type in Subway. Maybe that'll come up.
This might do it.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of that. It's probably them talking about. Yeah, it's a lot of still footage, and this guy probably narrating about it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about narration because I don't need to hear someone else talking. We do enough talking.
I mean, in retrospect, he borrows from Heath Ledger's Joker, which is he's wearing makeup.
Is that what you're talking about?
It looks like it. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's such a weird. I mean, I'm kind of digging the suit, to be honest.
I'm not. Joker wears purple.
Joker wears vibrant colors. He wears green and purple, but I've also seen him wear fucking black. I mean, he can wear a tuxedo.
Yeah, look, they're not doing it, obviously, from this, and I doubt they're doing it with the Jared Leto version, but if you're going to do this, you do Under the Red Hood. That's my opinion. If you're going to do this, if you're going to do a Joker movie, you do Under the Red Hood, which I know is technically a Batman title, but that's the best way you get the Joker.
But I mean, look at what's on the screen. This is Cesar Romero's costume. And that's sort of no, it's not a dark red. It's not even a bright red. It's sort of like a pink red costume. So they're sort of, but like, look at him normally with that dude. He's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what direction they're going. I will say I'm intrigued and I would like to see this fucking movie, but it just, we got to give it a chance. We got to see actual footage. I am more concerned about how he's going to sound. That's a point. Part of it.
Yeah, that's a very, very valid point because that will fuck it up.
Because Joaquin Phoenix is sort of known for mumbling a lot.
I did like him. I did like him in, I think it's called Her, where he falls in love with his computer. I like that movie. I like that movie a lot, actually.
Way before I started doing Rico's Rants, I started writing rants.
Okay. So writing movie reviews.
I did a review of,
yeah.
But I think I still called it Rico's Rants. It was
fine.
very much it was the sperm form of the baby that became Rico's Rants.
The sperm.
And I only, it was incubating. And it just didn't, for Her, I thought it was an interesting film, but I did not love it as much as everyone else because I couldn't help but marvel at how much Joaquin Phoenix creeped me the fuck out in that film.
Okay.
But I understood him falling in love with Scarlett Johansson's voice because, fuck, I
don't want to get into a whole thing, but she deserved a fucking Oscar nomination for that. I said it then, and I still agree. For not being on screen and conveying that much emotion, yeah.
Absolutely. It must have been probably one of the easiest jobs she's ever fucking had.
Probably.
I wanted to see that video game that he plays throughout that fucking movie.
I'd have to watch it again. It's been a minute since I don't remember the game, but, you know.
But, yeah, so that's my point is that little footage of him, like, smiling and laughing, they're all saying that he conveyed more emotion than Brie Larson, just based on a 10-second clip of him grinning maniacally.
See, this right here, not to change subject, this right here that you can see on my screen is what I'm waiting for. Right there.
Yeah. Also, this is something that is actually, like, affecting the video room right now. There's this rumor that Disney is... I mean, this doesn't affect you, but this affects my business.
Sure.
They are slowly transitioning out from DVD. Like, they're stopped making DVDs now.
Oh, you're going to have to buy digital?
How the fuck are we... No, I'm talking about, like, Blu-rays and 4K. So, which means...
Oh, they're not going to make DVD. They're just going to do Blu-ray and 4K? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we tried to order Solo to put it out for this upcoming Tuesday, which is when it's technically going to be released for Blu-ray and 4K.
Yeah, I know.
And there's no, you can't, I mean, it says it's still going to be available at some point in the future on DVD, but you can't buy it on DVD now. You can't even pre-order it.
Yeah, because I got to be honest with you, man, DVD is dying. I know you love the older formats, but it's Disney, dying.
I'm aware of that, but there's so many people who still watch DVDs. I would probably argue there's more people who still watch DVDs as opposed to Blu-rays.
But you can get a Blu-ray player for like $60 now, if not less. I mean, you can get Blu-ray players for so cheap that's.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying it's going to cut a huge chunk of my customer base because they're all going to be like, well, I don't have a Blu-ray player because the majority of my customers are fucking mostly seniors. But that was really because when you were looking it up to buy Ant-Man and the Wasp, it didn't say available on DVD.
Well, that's because I had the Steelbook open. Steelbook's only available on Blu-ray 4K. I went right to the Steelbook thing.
But who knows? It very well could just be a rumor. It's possible that they are experimenting with segueing out of DVD, but I did see other posts where Solo would be available on DVD. So it's possible, which if it's not, it's just going to really fucking piss me off and fuck with my OCD, because as a collector, I just finally got the majority of the Marvel films on DVD. I'm not going to start branching on a Blu-ray. It's just not going to happen.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you got to understand though, Rico. Like, I mean, all right, so I'm a business guy. I'm a businessman by nature, and like, from a cost perspective, from a cost analysis, it costs them money to print DVDs, and if they're only selling, like, and I'm making up numbers, right? So let's say we'll stick with the Infinity War. Let's say they sold 300 million copies of that movie worldwide, right, on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And they sell 25 million copies on DVD. Do you think it's worth it to them to keep printing the DVDs?
I think it would be probably cheaper for DVDs because Blu-rays are more high tech.
No, see, that's the thing people don't understand about discs. The discs don't cost any more money. That's why when, like, say, PlayStation games went from DVD to Blu-ray, they didn't change price. Right, when PlayStation games went from DVD to Blu-ray, the price didn't change to buy them because the cost of production didn't change. Because it's the same cost. So it is not an increase in cost, it just increased in size capability from a digital perspective. Meaning you can put more on a Blu-ray disc than you can on a DVD disc. But the cost to create that, maybe on the front end in terms of like creating the game, there's more cost, but there's no more cost in the actual printing processes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand that point of view. I'm just more pissed off.
I get Rico, I totally get it. I do understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying, like, that's probably the logic behind it. If they are doing that, that's probably why.
I think only Disney is probably doing that. I think also there's a strong possibility that Disney just may not release any Blu-rays or 4Ks as well. They just want if they're doing this app thing, the streamable service thing, it is most likely they're going to probably stop putting stuff on home video or home media and have it, you only can watch it on their thing. That's the possibility.
I think that it is a possibility, absolutely, but I think that would be a bad business model. I think people still want something tangible. I think they can force you to get the latest and greatest that they can do by not printing the previous formats. But too many people still want something tangible, even if it's something digital that they own. Because if all they can do is stream it, I think that's going to piss people off. But if they can download it and then put it on something where you don't need a Wi-Fi or internet connection, they're still going to be okay with it. So there may be a time where discs become a no longer a thing. Because that's what's happened with CDs. That's what I had to start buying my music through iTunes because I knew CDs were no longer going to be a thing. Now, vinyl is coming back around, and that's awesome because vinyl is a great format. I don't have a record player. Well, I do, but it's shitty and it's not worth replacing. The point being is that I'm not going to go start buying vinyl, so I had to make the transition to start buying digital if I wanted to buy music. And it's possible you may get that way with movies. I think people still want to own things, so I don't think you'll ever get to a point where it's only streaming, but you may get to a point where it's only digital. That's certainly possible. I did actually have something else
I don't like it.
I know you don't like it. I get that. But speaking of streaming, there's actually one thing I wanted to ask you if you've seen, and if you haven't, we can talk about it or not. I'll leave it up to you. So I still listen to podcasts at work while I'm working, and I used to quote unquote watch what was Fat Man on Batman and now Fat Man Beyond on YouTube at work because you don't actually have to watch it. It's not like watching a TV show where you have to see every visual piece. I can put it on and not really look at the screen and do my work. And then every once in a while, if there is something worth looking at, I can turn to my right where I keep my screen and see what they're talking about and then go right back to what I'm doing. So it's not, whatever. But some moron at my job decided to illegally download a movie on the company Wi-Fi and they've restricted the company Wi-Fi to the point where you can't stream anything anymore. So I've had to, after some economical decisions, decide to sign up for YouTube Premium.
Ooh, YouTube Red? Is that what it's called?
It's actually, I think they changed it from Red to Premium, but it's the same thing, yeah. I guess Red had a bad connotation to it, so Premium sounded better. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know what
connotation Red could be.
I don't know. But I did it for the fact that it allows you to download things from YouTube so that you can watch them without a connection. That was the purpose of me doing it. So I can download Fat Man on Batman, Fat Man Beyond, and watch it without having to have, or listen to it really, because like I said, I listen to it more than you watch it, but to be able to access it without having to have an internet connection. What I didn't realize that gave me access to was some of the YouTube original content that's out there, and I've got to watch season 1 of Cobra Kai. And is really, really, really fucking good.
I mean, I've heard that, but I haven't branched out to buying fucking YouTube Premium Red bullshit.
Right, and my just to give you a reason, really quick, my options were go to an unlimited data plan on my phone, which was $60 more a month, or YouTube Premium for $15 a month. So, YouTube won.
Yeah.
But, like I said, that gave me access to that content, and holy shit.
Is it really that good?
It's really that good.
I may have to borrow your password.
Yeah, I would do that for you. It's really, Rico. Here's the thing, and okay. Let me put it this way: if you're not a fan of the original Karate Kid movies, especially the first 3, I don't know that you would find it as amazing as I do. I'm a huge fan of those movies.
I really am. I really love.
I'm talking more to the audience. You know, like if you're not a fan of those first 3 movies, you may not enjoy it as much, but because there's a lot of little Easter eggs in the series. And it's only 10 episodes. They're 27 minutes apiece, so it's not like 10 hours of material. It's what's that, 5 hours of material, I guess? I'm doing the math right? I don't know. I'm too tired to figure that out. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not hours upon hours of material, but it's solid material. It's unedited material. But it's not over the top either, so there's not, but there's a mild amount of cursing. And were you a fan of How I Met Your Mother?
I've seen episodes, but I was not a huge fan.
Okay. Did you ever hear Barney's theory on the Karate Kid?
Oh, yeah, that the fucking Johnny is the hero and how fucking Danny LaRusso is the bad guy, fucking the villain. Yeah.
This is kind of what Cobra Kai is. It's not a reimagination of the original story. It's a continuation, and I gotta be honest with you, Daniel doesn't come off in the greatest light. I won't tell you more than that because I don't want to ruin anything, but he doesn't come off in the greatest light.
Well, that's why it's called Cobra Kai. It's not called the Karate Kid. We saw Daniel LaRusso's point of view. So this is Johnny Lawrence. Is that his fucking name?
Yeah, but it's not directly from his point of view. That's the other thing. Like, you get both sides of the continuation, and you do get both sides on flashbacks. So, yes, it's Cobra Kai, and yes, it leans more towards Johnny, but it's not. It doesn't lean to. They're both, at one point or another, they're both assholes, and at one point or another, they're both the hero at various parts throughout the series.
I think my main thing that I was really skeptical and kind of reluctant about watching Cobra Kai, which. Yeah. I take your opinion into consideration, and you're not the only one. I've heard other people say, like, it's so fucking good. I'm like, really?
It is.
It is Miyagi. Like, part of it is just like,
you know what?
Mr. Miyagi was a huge part of it for me.
He was, and what's really nice about the series is, first off, like I said, there's a lot of little Easter eggs that are homages back to stuff from the series, or from the movies, right? But his spirit is throughout the show. Really, it is. Like, and there's scenes from the movies in the show, so you see little bits of Miyagi from time to time in flashback form, but you still see it. And the other thing they did, and I don't know if your friends that were telling you about this told you, but they took footage from the movie that got cut from the original edit. But there's still footage. So you're getting things from different angles, so you see, like, the famous crane kick, you see a close-up of Johnny getting hit in the face, and it's actual footage from 1984, whatever the movie came out. I don't remember what year, but
I think you're right. I think it's 84.
It's it's that footage from that movie. It's it's really well done. It is really, really well done. I recommend it, and if I can share my stuff with you to let you see it somehow, I will gladly do it. But you need to watch it.
Do they bring back what's her face?
Allie? No, but there's talk she might show up in the next one. I was watching a thing after I finished this series where, actually, I'll tell you. So I'll tell you what got me into it. Right, was I was listening to the ID10T podcast, which basically used to be the Nerdist, but Chris Hardwick left the Nerdist even before the accusations that he had. He had just left the Nerdist. And so we started a new podcast called ID10T, which is computer geek speak for something that's not worth talking about, but that's why he calls it that. And then he had Billy Zabka and Ralph Macchio on the episode to talk about Cobra Kai. It was to promote the second or the first season. It was after like the second, because the first 2 episodes are free on. Actually, you know what, Rico? The first 2 episodes are free on YouTube. Like, you could go watch those right now without my information. So you should go watch those, and then if you decide you like it, I can get you the info to watch the other 8 if you want. That's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, I'll dig that up. I just gotta say, I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, no. So anyway, they were talking about it, and at one point, Chris Hardwick asked him, he's like, so, like, what's going to happen with, some of these other characters from the past, from the movies? And, she is referenced quite a bit throughout the series, like at one point, and I'm not trying to ruin anything for you, but at one point, because for the first 2 episodes, Johnny and Daniel don't even see each other. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they come face to face, and Daniel says something to him, and Johnny goes, "Well, you did steal my girl." And Daniel's immediate response was, "Well, she really wasn't your girl anymore." And then it goes from there, and I'll leave it at that. But and so, but in that they do flashbacks to that scene on the beach where Danny and her meet for the first time. So there's a lot of flashbacks to Allie, and there's actually a still shot of her hanging on the wall in the high school, because their kids go to that high school that they went to. So, I mean, there's a lot of reference, and I think they have reached out to Elizabeth Shue, but I haven't heard anything about whether or not she's actually going to make an appearance on Season 2. Season 2 has been greenlit. It's being shot, I think, as we speak. So, there's definitely going to be a second season.
I would be interested if they brought Hilary Swank in, just to make it really more interesting.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, because I was watching this thing after I watched the season, and they mentioned that, there's a possibility she could show up. Because the common thread through all 4 movies is Miyagi. And at some point, there's going to be a reference to Hilary Swank's character. They did say that, in the sense that, like, Miyagi must have said something to Daniel. Because the show does allude to the fact that Miyagi kept teaching Daniel stuff after Karate Kid 3, and maybe even into and after the next Karate Kid were Hilary Swank's character. So even though you don't see Daniel in the movie, it's not that Daniel's just out of his life. Like, apparently they are still connected throughout, things that you just don't see.
It's implied that, like, he was there when Miyagi died on his deathbed or something like that. Like, he was there.
There's actually a scene where you see Daniel kneeling at his gravestone, talking to him, like, looking for advice. Obviously not going to get a response, but just, as people do, they go to the graveyard and talk to people they care about.
Doing the Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, kind of like that, but it's not that everyday thing that Rocky was doing. It was more of, like,
How's the music, by the way? Is the music reminiscent of the original?
Not only is it reminiscent, it's direct. It's direct music. Like, there's a scene where where Daniel's going through, like, a reflective point, and it's a lot of the music from the Karate Kid 2, a lot of that Japanese stuff that they played when he was in Okinawa. I'm trying not to spoil too much, but I will tell you that his daughter goes on a date at one point Daniel's daughter goes on a date at one point, because she's like 16 in the show. She's 16, so she's a high schooler. And she goes on a date, and during that date, look, I'm trying not to spoil too much for it, but they go to Golf and Stuff, which is where Daniel took Allie on their first date, that arcade place. They go to Golf and Stuff, and there is a montage, and during that montage, they play the same exact song they played during the montage when Daniel and Allie were on their first date at Golf and Stuff. Oh. I mean, the exact same song. So, yes, a lot of that music plays through, and then there's some more modern stuff occasionally. But yeah, so it's a nice mixture of old school and now, you know?
Okay. I'll look. You've intrigued me. You've got me interested. I'll definitely check it out.
Johnny's trapped in the 80s. Like, his mindset he's trapped in the mid 80s.
Okay. No, what I was going to say was, I still, every time someone says Ralph Macchio's name is Ralph Macchio, I just cringe.
He said Macchio.
When you said Ralph Macchio, I'm just like, God damn it.
He said Macchio.
Yeah, but you said it because that's how he says it. That is, he has been incorrectly pronouncing his name forever.
Okay.
It's like, look,
Rico, this is just like Mila Jovovich. I'm still going to call her Mila Jovovich. I don't care. So it's just...
But come on, you're Italian. You should at least fucking be a little proud.
I don't get bent out of shape about stuff like that. You know?
I know, but he first, God damn it, he fucking fucked up his own name. It's Macchio.
It's probably just easier for purposes of having a movie career, you know?
Still spelled the same way.
Anyway. If that's your biggest problem, then don't watch the fucking thing. I don't know what to tell you.
No, that's not my biggest problem. It's just the fact that, even though he learned his name was pronounced properly, he still isn't fucking pronounced it properly. It's like if I found out my fucking last name was it'd be like if I was pronouncing DiGiorgio as DiGorgio, and then I went to fucking Italy, and they're like, DiGorgio? No, dude, it's DiGiorgio. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, well, no, it's still going to be DiGorgio, because that makes fucking sense.
Right. Well, anyway,
you're just
go watch the first 2 episodes, and if you really like it, I'll get you access to the other 8, because dude, I'm telling you, it's really good.
I'll watch fucking Cobra Key, as long as we're mispronouncing shit. That's how I'm gonna fucking pronounce it now. Cobra Key.
Oh, you're such a whiny bitch. Sometimes it's really funny. So
I'm the whiny bitch.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
On that note, I think we should. I think we're getting ready to fucking end this episode.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, that's probably a good way to go out with as much class as we have. So we'll talk to all of you on the next episode. Thanks for listening, guys. CJ here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. For PodAskew, go to iTunes, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts on your iPhone, and Google Play Music on your Android phone to listen to, subscribe, rate, and comment on the show, or the Listen Notes podcast search engine at www.listennotes.com. Go there, type in PodAskew, all one word, and you can stream us right there. If you want to agree with or yell at us directly, follow Rico, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew. Rico is at RantsRico, and I'm at M_Blade. If you need to contact the show for promotional reasons, tweet Stephanie at PodAskewPR. Check out Rico's YouTube channel, Rico's Rants, on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Rico's Rants. Thank you to Dubbed in English for our opening theme music, 96 Reasons. They're no longer online, but you can contact me for a copy of the full song or the whole Plan 9 EP. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for our closing music, Theme Askew. You can find his music on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition, a man confronts you, he is the enemy. An enemy deserves no mercy. Damn it!
PodAskew.